Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball. Jake's dead. Jimmy's nowhere to be found. The kids are in the yard. It's time to yuck some ball. Let's go! Better throw me a pitch. Gone. Doesn't even matter what you throw, Jolly.
You didn't like my form? Elbow.
Hello and welcome to Talking Baseball. The kids are here today. We're talking trade deadline. It's 6 weeks away. Jolly's got the red strobe light. His Mets are hot. My Twins are the best team in baseball. Christian Yelich for MVP. Like I mentioned, Jake's gone today. I think he's sick, or I don't know what's going on with him, but he mentioned, hey, I can't be on the show today. Let's call Jolly up. So right now we got me. We got Beavers down there, and we got Jolly filling in. Jolly, thank you so much, my man. How are you doing?
Trev, I'm great these days. I mean, I'm really enjoying baseball for the first time this season as a Mets fan, and I gotta say, it feels wonderful to tune in every night. But I'm good. I had a commute from hell this morning. Got a text on my train from BBD, graciously asking me to come on the show. I was like, "What are we doing?" He said, "I don't know." And now we're here, baby. We're ready.
Well, originally we were going to do our over-under recaps and go over, most of the teams that we picked were all different. We had some all together that we were all in agreement on. A lot of those were wrong. So we're going to go over that episode. It's a really fun one. But since you weren't part of it, we said, let's switch it up. Let's talk trades. We got a couple articles to go over. Jim Bowden had something. Is it Bowden or Bowden? I never know. I don't really care. But like I mentioned, we're 6 weeks away. We're kind of going to bounce around here. There's no real clear way to do this. By the way, we're brought to you by SeatGeek. I'm going to be reading the ads today, people. Talking 10, they got all sorts of, concerts, sporting events, whatever you can think of. They got them on there, so go check it out. It's going to be a little bit of a different show today. But like I said, we're going to be bouncing around today because there are some clear sellers, so we'll talk about them. There are some clear buyers, so we'll talk about them. But really, if you look at the standings, especially in the National League, there's a bunch of teams who don't know if they're for real or not. 1.5 games out, you're the New York Mets. You're 3 games under 500. We're in the playoffs, baby. That's how it's going this year. So it's going to be an interesting trade deadline. And so I guess we'll start out with that. Let's start out with the sellers, Joe.
That's a good idea. Because that's where the power lies right now, Trev, with the sellers.
We have I think 4 teams that are clear sellers, and then 1 team that's doesn't know that baseball really exists. That team's the Colorado Rockies. They got some really good players on that team, but as we've seen in the years past, like when they had Trevor Story ready to be traded, sometimes they just don't pull the trigger. Sometimes they trade their best player and pay a team to take him. So they don't really understand the entire game of baseball. But if you look at the Rockies, there are some intriguing names. I just actually saw them play in person. They have some nice young pieces to build on. Ezekiel Tovar looks like a stud. He had some swing change where he's not striding anymore. All of a sudden, he's hitting for power, playing a banger or shortstop. He's not going anywhere. A guy like Nolan Jones, who's I think just recently back from the IL, power hitting outfielder, he's not going anywhere. But they got a couple guys who I think are interesting. If I'm them, I'm not trading Ryan McMahon either. I like this guy a lot. He should be on your team, but he's drawing a lot of trade interest along with Elias Diaz and Jalen Beeks and maybe even a Cal Quantrill out there on the mound. The quote from Bowden's article, the Rockies don't plan to be too aggressive at the trade deadline, which has been their modus operandi for the past several years.
Okay, Jim Bowden. Jeez.
Don't know if I said that right.
I think you nailed it.
A guy like Ryan McMahon could fit a lot of teams, Jolly. I think the Yankees are one in particular. What do you got on the Rockies and their deadline activity?
Well, I first want to kick this off by saying I'll never say a bad word about the baseball team in Colorado. They welcomed me into their clubhouse with open arms, and I think they're a well-run org. They got friends over there, man. They're trying to keep the family together, and I respect that. They operate differently.
I don't think you mean anything that you just said.
No, the Rockies are weird, man. I mean, our dear friend Jake, who's ailing today, has been riding the Ryan McMahon to the Yankees train for, I think, 6 years now. And he may finally get his wish this year because when you think of the teams that make the most sense, it's teams that have weaknesses at third and first, and that's kind of where the Yankees are at right now. That being said, I agree with you. I don't think they're going to trade him. I think the one guy that's pretty much locked to get traded is Elias Diaz, who's an all-star last year, all-star game MVP. He did just get hurt, but his numbers this year are really, really good. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, is he like the only notable catcher that's going to be on the block at this year's deadline? Because I think he is, out of all these selling teams. And, you can count on two hands and then some how many teams could use an upgraded catcher. So I think the Rockies would be foolish not to sell him, especially considering that he is a rental player. He's going to hit free agency next year. As for who that team might be, that is the harder discussion for all of these teams today when we talk about sellers, because the buyer's market is about 20 teams deep at this point, some more serious than others. But that's why being a seller at this year's deadline is so, so powerful. The power is in your hands to drive up prices, knowing that you have double-digit suitors everywhere.
Maybe this is rude, but in general, comparing to last year, I feel like the teams that we knew would be trying to sell didn't have much interesting stuff. This year, all the teams, I feel like you can find something you like in there.
A little bit.
I agree with that. The catching position is a very funny one at the big league level, because I think during the offseason, teams are like, you know what? Like, let's get a defensive-minded catcher that can handle our staff, and then we'll find our offense in different positions. Then they look up and their catcher's got an OPS plus of 50, and they're like, hey, we could use an offensive upgraded catcher. Like, maybe you should have thought of that in the offseason. So, yeah, I think, to your point, I don't know how many catchers will be trading places. But then again, I feel like every single deadline we see a bunch of swaps, especially like veteran catchers that can kind of come stabilize your position. I like a Austin Hedges, a Christian Vasquez, guys of those ilk end up moving all around. So Colorado will be interesting. I'm on the team. Keep Cal Quantrill because he's had success on the road and at Coors. Like, just sign this guy. Like, I don't know what you're doing. There's a few teams in the sellers list here that we have that I have no idea. One of them being a team I played for, the Oakland A's. I never know what your plan is. Literally played for your team, was in the franchise. Number 3, stole it from Eric Chavez. That was a big mistake on my part.
Should be retired at this point.
Yeah, I don't know what their deal is, but they do have intriguing pieces. I think a lot of people are focusing on a Mason Miller, who is, come onto the scene. He strikes everybody out. He's the high leverage reliever that everyone's talking about. I'll say this. For what they're probably going to be asking for him, which is they should ask for a king's ransom.
Of course.
I wouldn't pay it, man.
No.
If I'm a team looking for a reliever, I feel like there's so many other names out there that can be in high leverage situations for you that you don't need to give up, one of your top prospects to get. But Mason Miller's going to demand that. And I just think that position's so volatile that year to year, I know he has the stuff, and like, this guy is going to be a good high leverage reliever for quite some time, but I think you can find those guys in spurts, and I'd rather do that if I was a GM. So I don't know if he's going to get moved. If he does, it'll be one of the bigger trades, I think, of the offseason. But other guys that they have, kind of on the block. Brent Rooker's had another, nice year offensively. He's a, more of a DH type. So if you're just looking for strictly offensive upgrades, he could be available. They got a couple of relievers, Lucas Ursich and Austin Adams also there for the taking. I do expect them to be sellers. They have a decent young nucleus, but again, what's the plan? What's the plan?
To speak on Miller, because you mentioned volatility of relievers, one guy that I thought was going to be top 5 closer in the game for at least the next 5 years, Alexis Diaz has a 5.47 ERA this year. Shit happens quick in Major League Baseball. You get found out sometimes. Diaz. Edwin Diaz, he's doing great. Last 2 outings, just saying.
Last 2 outings, he's back.
Last 2 outings, he's back.
No, but that's true. I mean, like, you've seen it firsthand, and it's a very volatile position.
Exactly, and if you were the Oakland A's, you have to weigh that. Like, Miller has, quote unquote, come back down to earth. He's still elite. He's got a WHIP of 0.85, but the ERA is not, this immaculate number that it was before. So do you weigh that and think, okay, how much can we capitalize on this with those years of control? I think what they're thinking about way more is their DH, Brent Rooker, who's been undoubtedly one of the best hitters in baseball. The quote we have here is the two most likely DHs to be dealt are my Mets' JD Martinez and then Brent Rooker of the A's. And outside of strikeouts, if that does scare you, because he does lead the league in strikeouts right now, the dude is raking, and he's got control until 2028. That's when he hits free agency. So this is a guy you can add on your team for a while. And that's, I think, an interesting discussion because when you have all these teams in the middle, the teams that are right around 500, and they don't know if this year is their year, but they want to give themselves an honest shot, this is the kind of move you can make because you can rationalize it as, okay, well, even if we don't punch our ticket this year, we have this guy for the next 3 years, and he can help our cause going forward. And Brent Rooker really fits that bill because I don't know that the Oakland A's are going to be contending by 2028. So they have to be considering the fact that, like, you know, let's move the pieces we have now and just try and set ourselves up better for that far away window when we're in Las Vegas. Brent Rooker fits that bill the best. I mean, he's got a 144 OPS plus. I mean, you can do a ton of things adding that to your lineup. And again, double-digit teams that could use a Brent Rooker in the 5 or 6 hole.
That's the thing. Offense is always needed, and I think there are some teams that kind of have fixtures at DH or don't have room at DH. They like to rotate it, whatever it may be. But you're right. Brent Rooker will definitely be someone. I mean, the Mariners could look at him. They just have a bunch of ex-Twins on their team now trying to
Brent can play a little left field, right? Is it that crazy? Is he that bad?
He can get out there and do that 100%. Yeah.
So think about that too.
I don't think it'll be game-changing defense.
I mean, if you're a savant bubble guy, slinger. That's a fun page. Brent Rooker, a lot of good stuff.
All right, let's move on to the Angels, who I think are another team that's going to sell. They have some interesting names. They've done well in the scrap heap department, if you will. A guy like Kevin Pillar comes over there and just like finds the fountain of youth. It's a bunch of homers. Yeah, I don't really understand that. But they have some fun ones. I mean, Taylor Ward, who's been, kind of like in the middle of their lineup over the last couple of years, they could look to move him. You got Tyler Anderson, who's having a real resurgent year. His first year in Anaheim wasn't great, but he's on like a pretty good contract. I think a lot of teams are going to be looking at him to add help, especially if you're right-handed heavy. You get this lefty in there, could really help you out. I think they're on the fence about him. We'll see how that goes. A guy like Luis Renifo, I believe he's a free agent after next year, so you get an extra year of control with him. He's been playing well. The list kind of goes on and on for the Angels. Again, I don't know when they believe their window is. I know it's not this year. It's probably not next year. It could be 2026. So in that vein, really anybody in the bullpen can go, and definitely guys like Ward and Pillar and Renifo can go. So they're an interesting team. I definitely think they are on the seller's market.
Yeah, I mean, I think they would be foolish to not capitalize on Tyler Anderson right now. I mean, the contract looked real bad last year. It was kind of one of those things where we saw the Dodgers taking him and Heaney, and they kind of got really good productive seasons out of both of them. Both those guys cashed in free agency as they should, but they were scary contracts because not everybody has the resources that the Dodgers do. What a lot of teams have right now is high ERAs out of their starting pitching. A lot of contending teams. How about this? The Cleveland Guardians have a 4.32 ERA out of their starting rotation right now. To tell me that they wouldn't benefit from someone like Tyler Anderson coming in with that year of control is foolish. I don't know if Cleveland is the type of team to make that move. The Milwaukee Brewers, you guys have been singing their praises all season long. They've been an offensive team. They're 4-5. I looked on the roster resource today. 2 names I didn't recognize. I'm not going to lie. Haven't been watching a lot of Brewers baseball. You could fit Tyler Anderson there. I think the market for starting pitching is the most robust this year. And you have teams in the middle, like my Mets, that could capitalize that on well. But when you're a clear seller, like the Los Angeles Angels are, you have to take advantage of this, especially after you depleted your farm system last year. Guys like Edgar Cuero going to the White Sox in that last-ditch deal to get something out of your last Ohtani year. That set you back at least a year. Yes. And I'm fully admitting that I endorsed it at the time. I was like, yes, let's go for it. We have the best player on planet Earth. Let's try and win something. They were in contention, and then it all fell apart. That's the risk you take. Now you have to overcorrect and, get back to where you were before. So Tyler Anderson can be your key to getting there.
Tyler Anderson is under contract for next year as well. He's making $13 million this year, so you pay half of that, and then $13 million next year. Which, for a starting pitcher, especially if a guy that's putting up numbers like this, it's pretty dang cheap. So yeah, the Brewers are an interesting team for me. I think they will be buyers. I think they obviously need starting pitching. They've been going with Koenig to open up for Bryce Wilson.
Yeah.
They've really like figured things out because they've been playing great defense, number one. Their offense has been incredible. I don't think anybody saw that coming. And because of the rash of injuries and because they traded Corbin Burns, yeah, they're looking for that. Isn't that funny? Like,
Is that just
we
like a
traded
win-win
starting
trade,
pitcher,
though?
but we got what's that?
Is that just like a win-win trade at this point? Like Joey Ortiz has
It
been
is.
amazing, and Corbin Burns is having a great season too. Like Brewers always
It was
find
exactly
themselves
what
there.
both teams needed.
Yeah,
Although the Brewers now need starting pitching again,
Yeah,
which is,
they could use
sometimes you
Corbin
got to
Burns.
give to get a little bit. Oh yeah, so the Angels are definitely of the seller brand. Kevin Pillar, where could you go, man?
I kind of
I'm
want
excited to see that. I want to see
Just
him on a
stay.
winning team. I think he plays winning baseball. I really do, man.
He was a Met a couple years ago. He did his
Oh.
tour of the East. I liked him.
Braves. He's going to the Braves.
Oh, he's going back to Braves country.
He's going back to
The most
Braves.
obvious Brave I've ever seen, Trev.
Jock Peterson, Kevin Pillar, boom. That's all you need.
Maybe even Brent Rooker
Platoon.
too. Just keep taking from the A's.
I think they might do that.
Build a new outfield. Work.
God, I can't
Worked
stand
last
it. I
time.
can't stand it.
Quick on the Marlins before we get to my number one selling team.
Oh.
They have a bunch of names, and they're willing to trade every single person on here. Jesus Luzardo, he's going to get traded. Passon says that could be the biggest name traded at the deadline, which
Really?
I contend that a little bit.
I don't think that's true.
He's a good pitcher.
Yeah.
The peripherals are okay. He's got stuff. He's had a couple of blow-up starts that really take his numbers out. Against the Rays, I believe he got 9 earned runs in one start. He's got like a couple 5 earns here and there. But other than that, I think he's had some quality starts. He's got a track record as well. I think he ends up going somewhere. Brewers could take a look at him. The Orioles could take a look at him. I mean, pretty much any team that's in contention would like to have a Jesus Luzardo there. But there's other guys like Josh Bell. The relieving core has a bunch of guys, Tanner Scott being one of them. The interesting name for me, because there are teams looking for center fielders, the Jazz Chisholm Jr. Now, I think if you watch the show, you kind of know my feelings on a Jazz Chisholm.
I watch occasionally.
I don't understand a lot of the hype. I don't think he's earned a lot of the things that he's gotten. But he's a above average player.
He's a good player.
Who could bring a spark to your lineup. Maybe needs to get out of Miami. Maybe needs some veterans that he respects, because I don't think there was any of them in Miami. And I don't know if there is one in baseball that he respects, but if there were, I think that could help him a lot. I'm interested to see if he ends up going somewhere. We know the Phillies need a center fielder. The Dodgers could use a center fielder. The Orioles could use a little upgrades, as Cedric Mullins has been struggling
you
offensively.
took the idea right out of my mouth, man. Jazz Chisholm.
You're thinking
Dodgers.
Orioles.
No, I'm thinking Dodgers uniform, man. You want to talk about glitz and glamour and wanting the spotlight? Like that kind of makes the most sense. That could be dangerous. And you want to talk about veterans that you can respect. There's about 6 on that team I can name. I don't know that they're going to trade him, though. I know they're hitting full reset. And, like, what is the point of keeping Jazz if you're going to do that? And
There's no point.
There's no point. But is the package going to be enough? I know we're talking about how powerful the seller's market is. It's the same discussion with Luzardo, man. I mean, this is so many teams could use a guy like Jesus Luzardo. I remember when Miami got him for, I think it was half a season of Marte to the Oakland A's. I thought it was crazy. It was 6 years of Jesus Luzardo. They really got the best out of him. He's still not a free agent until 2027. Like, he's still got years and years left, and he's a talented guy. It's just, what happened in Miami, man? I mean, this team was so exciting.
They made the playoffs last year.
I know, like, I was kind of watching from the sidelines because my team was out, and I was like, I was silently rooting for them a little bit, even though they're in the division, because they were just fun. But like, now we're here, and like a Tanner Scott, Josh Bell package makes a lot of sense. But I feel like we talk about Marlins selling most years. Jazz Chisholm, definitely the most interesting one, though.
And as Dalton is writing on our sheet right now in live time, Jazz, the Dodgers would reunite him with Miguel Rojas, his favorite veteran.
That would be cinema. I kind of want to see that. Them hugging in the dugout, or they go Mackenzie Gore, Nick Senzel. I don't know.
Oh, no, they would hug it out. I think if Jazz went to the Dodgers, he would he'd have to kind of like
eat his words a little bit,
chill out a little bit.
Yeah. Humble pie could do wonders for him. Who knows?
And the Marlins also have like a bunch of pitchers they could sell, like literally anyone on their starting pitching staff. So
No.
look out for them. I think they'll definitely be there. Before we get to my number one, and I think everybody's number one selling team, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about Luke Combs.
Trev ad read. They pay extra for this. Let's go.
So today's episode is brought to you by Luke Combs. That's awesome. Father and Sons is a new album from Luke Combs. It's available now. It's a first of its kind album release. 12 tracks on it, and they recorded entirely live. Me and you are music aficionados. I know you play the drums, I play the guitar. Maybe we're gonna start a band, but I love live music. And I think my favorite thing is when artists can actually do things live. So the fact that this album is recorded entirely live is awesome. And it features his most personal songwriting to date, reflecting on his own experiences being a dad and a unique bond between parents and their children. It's for everyone, highlighting relatable themes of those special relationships in our lives. I love that because I'm a dad, and I'm starting to get to the point now, Jolly, where I get like sentimental and like I'll cry in movies and stuff. Once you become a dad, they don't tell you that. You start to cry in movies.
Trev gone soft.
That's just the one thing that nobody talks about, but it's universally true.
Let it out.
It just something happens. Like this little it just your heart opens up a little bit.
Just showing off the Yelich shirt a little bit too.
Oh, Christian Yelich, yeah. So this is awesome. The best part about this whole thing, okay? Great album. Go check it out. Download it where it's available. He's also teamed up with MLB and T-Mobile to give you and your family a chance to win the ultimate doubleheader VIP weekend trip. Winners get to fly to New York City and see the Yankees game on July 19th, and then, Jolly, head to MetLife Stadium the next night to meet Luke Combs and watch him in concert. Wow. So visit lukecombs.com/MLB T-Mobile to enter and get more details. Hit the link in the description to save Fathers and Sons wherever you get your music.
Expertly done, Trev. I mean, that's just a clinical fundamental.
Well, I like
read.
Luke Combs.
Yeah. I mean, a music sponsor's neat. I didn't think we would ever get to, just main artists having their ads on our show. That's pretty cool.
People want to get the word out.
New theme? Luke Combs?
You know who Luke Combs thinks is going to be a seller?
I can guess.
The Chicago White Sox.
The Chicago White Sox.
What? Let me just give this. Chicago White Sox organization, what is you doing, baby? What's going on there? Everything's a mess, Charlie. I got to see them in person. They got their play-by-play guy wanting to get on the field and fight people.
He's awesome, by the way. I love him.
Is he?
I've
never listened to him.
He's awesome.
Okay. Well, you think everyone's awesome.
Hey.
So you need to chill out on that a little bit.
That's crazy.
He wants to fight people. Their post-game show is insane. With Ozzie Guillen, and I don't even know the other guy's name. It's insane. They just talk crap about the entire team. Chris Getz has come into this. I gotta imagine he's being like, what did I get myself into? Their play on the field has been incredibly bad. Whether it's base running, whether it's defense, whether it's Garrett Crochet like being the best pitcher in the world or the worst pitcher in the world. They went from World Series contenders to the number one seller in baseball so quickly with this roster. The organization as a whole is in shambles. So what do you do when you're in shambles? You knock the whole thing down and you start over, and that's what the Chicago White Sox are going to do. Now,
I mean,
the names we have on this roster
are nuts.
They're nuts, and teams are chomping at the bit to get a hold of these guys because there is so much talent. Garrett Crochet, I mentioned him already. He has the makings of an ace.
Yes.
There are times where I think this guy is completely unhittable. A lot of it has to do with his control, his location, but the stuff is absolutely there. The one thing I'll say about him before we get to the other guys, first year as a starter, Jolly.
He made his first start this year on opening day, right?
Already surpassed his most previous innings in a year, and it's June 18th.
Can't predict baseball.
So what do you do about the innings on him? He's attractive. What's the Beebs? Check his contract. I don't have it up in front of me, but he's not going to be a free agent until 2026, I think. 27.
Leads the league in strikeouts and whip.
Sheesh.
It's nuts.
That's nuts.
So he's available for the right price. Tommy Pham, everyone's favorite rent and outfielder.
Back to the Diamondbacks. Lock.
He's
Done.
available. Why the Diamondbacks are not
need him
in
back.
contention?
They need him
year.
back.
They're not.
Hey, what was
We don't know.
that? Trev, game and a half
They're not.
out. Relax.
They're not. Everyone's a game and a half out, bro.
Exactly.
You can't
Everyone's
call
in
everyone
it.
a contender. I'm sorry.
That's insane.
The big one for me, Luis Robert.
Yeah.
Eric Fetty has been incredible for them. Fetty Wap's going somewhere. Michael Kopech, you should have been an ace. What happened
I don't know.
there? He's
Paul
available
DeYoung,
out of the bullpen throwing. He's the new Joe Kelly. That's what's going on. with him.
Ooh. Does he have the same gusto, though? Is he throwing at people's heads? Because that's part of
I
the
think
Joe Kelly brand.
Well, first of all, I don't condone that whatsoever. Okay.
I didn't take a side.
I don't know if he's got it in him.
Okay.
I don't know him personally. I know that he has the
Ooh.
exact same stuff as Joe Kelly, and he was a starter, kind of failed in the bullpen. He'll be a gun for hire for many years, like Joe Kelly. Paul DeYoung might
Bounce
be the
back
new
season.
Dodgers shortstop by the time you hear this.
Oh, that fits.
Although
That's a puzzle piece.
Miggy Rowe has been having an incredible season out there in Dodgerland, so I don't want to put that out there just yet.
He's got good
A
numbers,
couple other interesting one. Eloy Jimenez, he's injured right now. He could do it. Corey Lee, I don't think they trade. He's like the one guy on that team. I'm like, you're playing good ball, son. They got him from the Astros. He looks like I'm going to put this out there right now. And I don't think anyone said this about Corey Lee. I'm going to be the first. I think he's like an all-star catcher.
Whoa. Okay, bold claim.
Maybe not this
Nice.
year,
He's
but
having a
just
nice year.
the way he plays, his movements, his actions on the field, Jolly. I'm in on Corey Lee. I'm the first guy in on Corey Lee.
You've
Just
watched
want-
more Corey Lee than me, so I'm going to trust your gut.
Yes. What's his name? Who am I forgetting?
Uh-oh.
Vaughn. Andrew Vaughn.
Oh, nice.
He's gone
Found
too.
it.
The whole roster is available. So I guess my question to you, Jolly, is give me somewhere. Number one, do you think they package like a Crochet and a Lubob and a Kopech? And then number two, any firm landing spots for these guys?
Love it. Well, first, I mean, Bowden pitched, I think in the article, like a crazy, it was like Crochet.
Awesome.
A 10-player trade with a Dodgers.
Lubob, and like someone else, and then it was just the entire Dodgers top 10.
I believe that trade had the Dodgers giving their 1, 3, 5, 9, 14, and 18 for Luis Robert, Crochet, and Kopech.
Yeah, no, that's too much. That's too much. But I mean, they have demonstrated in the past. Like you go back to the Scherzer Turner trade, that they're willing to part with their top guys because they can replace those top guys in a year.
Because what are
half's
top
time.
guys anyway, dude?
Sometimes they turn out into stars like Garrett
Forever
Crochet,
For every Fernando Tatis Jr., there's 20 dudes. You're like, who?
It's lottery tickets, baby. You never know. With Crochet, though. Crochet is the most interesting one. I don't think you package him with anything because I think regardless of who it is, the package you get in return is seismic enough that you don't need to package another player with him. It's the years of control discussion again, but it's way different this time because it's the best pitcher in the American League, arguably, right now, Garrett Crochet.
I would argue that, but okay.
Dalton put it on a sheet, and now I feel cheap because I was going to say it, and then you basically put it there, so now it doesn't feel like it's my idea. Crochet to the Orioles is the one that is instantly popping into my head. They have had problems with Kyle Bradish and his UCL, another scare there. They lost Means and Kremer for, I think, Means for the year. I'm not sure about Kramer. Garrett Crochet makes a ton of sense to pair up with Corbin Burns. Everyone's wondering, are they going to be able to bring Corbin Burns back in free agency? If you fail to, you have something you can build around in your rotation in Garrett Crochet. The other side is that AJ Preller is an unhinged man.
Yes.
And he doesn't give a fuck about prospects, Trev. He doesn't care about the Fernando Tatis Jr.'s, and he has one on his team by the same name. I fully believe, I could fully see the Padres shelving out whatever is left of their farm that they've already shelved out from years past to get this guy, because pitching has been very important to their team. They haven't gotten the health out of their rotation right now. They're still piecing it together. Matt Waldron's having a terrific season. Michael King is under control. If you want to stop having to make these moves every year at the deadline, you need to get somebody with these years of control that is still a high-end talent. So right now, I'm between those two. I think it's a Padres acquisition, unless things really go off the rails these next month, which I don't think they will, or the Orioles, who have been steady Eddie and can just add an ace on top of their rotation and keep going.
First of all, beautiful.
Thanks.
Just a beautiful answer right there. If I'm the Padres and I'm looking to add, whether it's Fetty, whether it's Crochet, anybody, Lozardo, Ethan Salas, this 18-year-old catcher, you're gone.
So it's funny you say
I'm
that.
sorry.
I really think that's the only guy they wouldn't trade. They love him. They're constantly raving about it. He's like 18 years old. He's in Double-A raking.
He's not in Double-A raking.
Single A?
He's in high A, not raking right now. He's got a 195 BA, 578 OPS. Again, I'm not saying this kid's not good. I mean, I don't know what it's like to be 18 at the high A level. I think I was 20, maybe 19. I'm just saying this guy's got enough of a name.
That's what it would take, though. That's what it would take. I see what you're saying. Because, if you're the White Sox,
I'm not a prospect hoarder.
You have to think about that. You have, especially if you have this depleted farm system, even after you restocked it a little bit last year. He's the number 8 prospect in all of baseball right now. He's probably going to move up in the near future. He's easily the best chip that the Padres have. But do you play it on this team? That's the biggest question. Do you believe in this talented roster enough with an injured Manny Machado playing every day? With Tatis and Merrill, you can build around that. I don't know. It's a very tough decision, and I constantly think that AJ Preller's job security is under fire, and then every season he's just back and he's doing crazy shit. So I think he's got the job for life, basically. So yeah, why not? Punch your ticket.
If I'm an owner, I'm okay with a guy like AJ Preller.
Yeah.
I want you to go out there and take risks. I want you to go out there and try to build me a good team. Now, obviously, you have to have the resources to do it. But the GMs that just stand pat and say, we believe in our scouting department. It's no, man. I loved scouting. It's great. You need it in baseball, but give me major league talent. Give me tried and true major league talent. If this guy ends up being a dude somewhere else, man, all right, sucks, but I'm trying to win at the big league level. I'm not trying to win the prospect fucking farm system, Keith Law rankings. I don't care about that.
Hey, he had nothing to do with this, all right? Come on. Leave him out of this.
Me and Keith Law, my gosh. I think one day me and Keith Law will sit down and have a bourbon. I don't even drink bourbon, but I imagine it'll be something heavy like that because the emotions are going to be a lot, Jolly.
Trev, you're a dad now. You got to get on some whiskey, some bourbon. You got to have a nice bottle in your cabinet.
I'm more of a red wine guy, Jolly.
Okay. Sophisticated. I like that.
So I think before we move on to, I think what we'll do next is probably the 10 players to watch because that way we can go and talk about them. Maybe we'll talk about some definite buyers, but we still have to talk about La Pantera, Luis Robert. I think he's one of the most attractive players. I've been calling for years for the Astros to go trade for this guy. Now, I don't think they necessarily need that anymore, but I wanted a contending team to go get this guy, pry him from Chicago, get him out of that quote unquote hellhole of an organization and put him somewhere where he can have some success. Where are you landing? I guess I'll go first with this.
Okay.
I was initially the Phillies were that's where he's going.
The easy one.
They just sent down Johan Rojas. I know Brandon Marsh is back, but I think that he just kind of fits in there. They brought in Whit Merrifield for a little bit of depth and kind of positional versatility. He hasn't had the greatest year offensively. This is a team that's out for blood. They're going for it. They smell it in the water. They want to win the World Series. And also because he has control, it fits within their window of contention. Everything makes sense for them to go out and get this guy. If you do that, you have one of the longer lineups in baseball. You start to have, some better defense out there in the outfield because we know, there are times where they're running some not so great defensive outfields out there. It makes all the sense in the world. I don't know. Do you have a different team? I know we've talked a little bit of Orioles, but do you have don't say Dodgers either. Any other team besides those three?
No, I have a wish, Trev. I have a wish.
Okay.
Well, first of all, you brought up Whit Merrifield. This whole scenario is kind of giving me Whit Merrifield deja vu. I feel like for 2 years we were like, when are the Royals going to capitalize on this guy that's leading the league in hits every year? When are we going to trade him? And they waited a little too long, and then they didn't get the package that I think they should have. I almost wish the White Sox traded him last year. Last year was his first full season. He was terrific. He finished top 10 in MVP voting, 38 home runs. Right now, he just came back from injury. He's got a really funny stat line. He's hitting under 200. He's got a slug of 514. The market has changed a little bit, and I think that's a win for the buyers. With that being said, there's a team that is young and fun, and they rank 29th in weighted runs created plus out of their center field production. And
Young Fun. Let me guess this one. Young Fun 29th?
29th.
Center field.
And they're known more for their pitching right now. You want to take a stab?
I'm thinking right now. I'm thinking.
Trev.
Is it the Mariners?
It's not the Mariners.
Well, I know they have Julio out there, but you could make some match. Who is it?
Potentially, we don't know what the future holds. What we do know right now is that Paul Skeens, Jared Jones, and Mitch Keller are all healthy, and they're pitching really well. And the Pirates are in this thing, and they're not getting the offensive production they need. And they have been hoarding prospects for years. They haven't made a buying move since our friend Chris Archer that I can remember that is significant. Now's the time, man. The NL Central is within reach. I know the Brewers are having this terrific season, but there's 10 teams in the wild card hunt, and you're in the thick of it. You can jump these teams with a nice stretch, and you need a spark plug bat. You need an X factor in your lineup that you don't really have right now. Like O'Neal Cruz has been good, but he's not having this electric season that I think a lot of people thought he would finally have this year. They need something in the middle there, and you can spin it in a way that makes sense if you have him under control until 2026, like Luis Robert is. They didn't designate 2027. Thank you. They demoted Jack Swinsky early in the year. He's back up now. He's not playing well. So rectify the issue and get a star in your lineup. The Pittsburgh Pirates should trade for Luis Robert.
I like that call. I did just see them in person as well. They have some really fun, talented players that I think don't get a lot of attention because of O'Neal Cruz, because of Skeens.
Right.
Nick Gonzalez, their second baseman,
stud,
is a guy.
He's a guy.
So they have like this Key Brian Hayes, O'Neal Cruz, Nick Gonzalez. Like they have some pieces there that are going to be for yes.
The White Sox also have a first baseman you can acquire too. Andrew Vaughn.
Little package deal.
I'm just saying, you can fix
Rowdy
your entire lineup.
I'm sorry,
I'm
man.
sorry, Rowdy. You seem like a terrific dude. But the Pirates need to go, dude. This is a year. They can do it. It's in front of them.
So I said that about the Pirates because they are such an interesting team. They do have this three-headed monster at the top of the rotation. No one's done anything in the NL. So like you mentioned, everyone's in contention. If you were to face this Pirates team in a wild card series, in a 5-game set, and all of a sudden you're facing those three guys, you're fucked.
Also, Bailey Falter having a terrific year as your 4. I'm just saying, man, not many teams have this deep rotation. A lot of teams that are neck and neck with you record-wise, they need to go out and get starting pitching. You already have it. Go get your bats.
I like the move because it's not just for this year.
Right.
I think that if the Pirates are going to do anything at all,
can't be a
they
rental.
have eyes on. It's not a 1 year. It's not a rental.
Right. Absolutely.
I like it, Charlie. Way to go right there, and really just fucking.
We don't take the layups here, Trev. All right, we're shooting beyond the arc.
Sometimes I like the layups. What's wrong with the high percentage shot, dude?
Because then you don't get the clips, Trev. It's all about the clips. Come on.
Okay. That's not on this show. That's not what the kids do when we're yucking
this
ball.
This is a clickbait show. Put Ohtani on the thumbnail.
Pat Hoberg and Ohtani hanging out. Before we get to more players to watch, I do want to talk to you, Charlie, about the farmer's dog.
Oh, please.
Now, I love dogs. People think I don't like dogs because I don't have one. I just am not in a position right now to care for one. But I love dogs, and I want them to be nutritionally healthy. And that's exactly what Farmer's Dog will do for you. Every day, more dog people and more vets are quitting the kibble because it's gross. Nobody wants that. They're kicking the cans, and they're feeding their dogs food that's actually food. That makes a lot of sense to me. What are we doing with this processed, gross stuff? Give your dog some food. That's what they like.
Of course.
You ever seen a dog like begging for your food? He's like, I want real food. Farmer's Dogs provides that. It's developed by vets, made fresh from real meat and veggies, portioned for your dog and delivered right to your door. It's not just fresh, high quality food. They also send pre-portioned specifically, like I said, for your dog. And that's based on their unique nutritional needs. It's smart, healthy pet food. You can feel good about giving your pup. And if you have a dog, you want to give them the best. Like dogs are essentially like your kids. So you don't want to feed your kids bad. You want to feed your dogs bad stuff. This leads to a better coat and skin, better breath, which is awesome, and easier digestion and smaller, better poops. You gotta love that. That's probably the best line they have in this whole ad. If it doesn't matter, or it doesn't matter if your dog is young or old, it's always the right time to be investing in their health. Help keep your dog healthy and playing ball 50% off.
Wow.
We do it big here. 50% off your first box at thefarmersdog.com/talkin. That's no G, you know that.
Of course.
Plus, you get free shipping. Just go to thefarmersdog.com/talkin to get 50% off. And I'm going to try to do it because Chris Rose does it on Baseball Today. If you do this for your dog, you know what he'll say to you, Jolly?
What will he say?
I love you.
That was good. That was good.
He does it so much better than I do. Son of a gun. Farmer's dog. What's up?
He's got dad years on you. That's why.
Yeah, he's my mentor. We're gonna do like a dad show. If you want to come on and be like our son,
I'm down.
be like Pop, Grandpa, me, and you.
Oh, we call him Rosie Grandpa. Jeez.
We'll talk about it.
There's younger grandpas than Chris Rose.
That's true. That's very true.
It's crazy.
I think the way we'll go about the rest of the show here is we're going to talk about some of the players to watch, some of the guys we haven't already talked about, maybe find some teams. Maybe we'll cross over into the guys that are clear buyers. But let's start off with your Mets. Because obviously you know this team, and I don't know, like as of 5 days ago, it looked like they were going to be clear sellers, and they had guys they wanted to, to get rid of and capitalize on some good years. But now, are they even sellers, Shirley?
They're fighting back, baby. I love it. They're making this really hard on David Stearns in his first year.
Right?
Here's what I want to preface this entire discussion with. You guys covered it. You were doing Talking Baseball at the time this happened. I think it was 2 years ago, maybe 3. The Brewers were winning the NL Central. They were in a tight division race, and they traded away their closer, Josh Hader. Year and a half left to control. He went to the Padres. Everybody panned the move at the time. How can you do this? The clubhouse revolted. All that stuff. And David Stearns was in charge alongside Matt Arnold when that decision was made. Here's what I'll say about that trade, Trev. In the trade, they got Robert Gasser, who, before he got hurt, was lighting the league on fire a little bit. Looked really, really good. They also got Esteury Ruiz, who they turned into William Contreras.
We can't count that trade ever. That's
I'm
what
just
happened.
saying that is the resource that they used to get the best catcher in baseball who has been their most important player.
Yes.
So when you think about teams that have players to sell in a seller's market, it's really, really hard to not capitalize on that. And the Mets are a team that is built to sell. Probably more so than like the selling teams that we just talked about. Like there's a ton of 1 year, 2 year guys on this list that are having good seasons. Luis Severino, JD Martinez, just won Player of the Week. Obviously, Pete Alonso is the clicky one. The Mets, if they want this year to be a year, they got to keep going. It's not enough to be a 500 team and to be in the wild card race. You got to be firmly in a position. So if the trade deadline was today, I do still maintain that the Mets would sell their pieces. As for who, I don't know. But in my opinion, I think one guy that's still a lock to go is Luis Severino.
I go back and forth on this a lot. The extra wild card has created this what we have in the National League right now, where the Cubs are at 34 and 39 are 2 games back. Cincinnati's 1.5. Your Mets under 500 at 34 and 37, 1 game back of that last wild card.
Yes,
so it creates this almost mirage of contention. Like you still have to leapfrog a bunch of teams. Yes, you're close, but what does it really mean? I mean, I don't know. I go back and forth. What does it really mean to get in the playoffs? Well, look at what happened last year with Arizona.
All right.
You get hot, bats get hot, a couple pitchers get hot, one reliever, Kevin Ginkel, all of a sudden comes out of nowhere, strikes everybody out, and you're in the World Series. So that's what it means.
Here's what I'll say.
The Mets are so fucking interesting.
They're incredibly interesting. It's a really fun
because
time
the
to have a
1-year
Mets show.
deals that you bring in guys. I mean, really, it's for this reason. You want them to go off, so you have the option to trade them.
Absolutely.
And JD Martinez has been the epitome of that.
Yeah, and he's on an unbelievable contract, Trev.
Let me ask you this:
for how talented
who
he is.
would Mets fans be like if they traded Pete Alonso?
Yeah.
I think there would be like an uproar. Like, hey, man, this is like our guy, like homegrown. They love Pete there. If they traded JD Martinez, would it feel the same?
He would have to keep going at this rate, but I don't doubt that he would because he's JD fucking Martinez, man. He's been doing this for 15 years, and like Mets fans have been clamoring for this guy to be on the team since 2021. They've wanted him every single year. Now that he's finally here and he's producing and he's allowed the Mets to reshape their lineup and move Lindor to the leadoff spot because now you have this new 3-hitter. He's very important to the team. In the same vein, and Pete Alonso is important to the team, but there's a little bit of a strained relationship, I think, right now with him and Mets fans between the contract offer that got made public that he turned down, the Boris free agency, him wanting to reset the market. These are things you have to think about if you're the Mets, because think about it on the other side. If you're the Mets and you don't have Pete Alonso on your roster for whatever reason, is he a guy you actively seek out in free agency to add to your team? Not a guy you're bringing back. Is this a guy that we want to add to the roster that we have? Those are the questions that the front office are asking themselves right now. And if the answer is no, then it's foolish not to trade him. But at the same time, Steve Cohen, who has endeared himself to Mets fans, has been very public on social media and with fans themselves. You are at risk of losing your fan base almost entirely for at least this year if you trade away those two guys. And we're seeing the lineup fire on all cylinders right now. It's a lot of fun. So I don't know, man. It's very difficult to answer.
Didn't he put it out there, though? I think he's already like kind of smooth the road, if you will, because he said like this is not going to be, we're not going to totally rebuild, but it could be a retooling year this year. So he's already put it in everyone's minds. Now this winning streak they've gone on, putting them back into, like I said, one game out of a wild card spot, it makes it seem like, hey, like this could be a year for us. But in reality, like I said, he's already put this out there. I gotta imagine that a bunch of these teams, and again, we're looking at, I don't know, 6 or 7 teams within half of a game, 6 teams within a half of a game of the wild card. Right. Padres aren't going to be selling. They're going to be adding. Arizona, I think, could be selling. Yeah. I think they have some pieces. They like their core. I think they feel like with Corbin Carroll not really doing what he's doing with some of the injuries to the starting pitchers, I feel like they could say, this isn't our year, guys. Let's retool, come back strong, healthy in 2025. Pittsburgh, I think they're going to add. I really do. I think they like the momentum that they have there, and they will. The Mets and the Reds, I think are going to sell. I don't get that same vibe for them. The other one is the Chicago Cubs, and I feel like they might add just because
I think they'll add.
Their fan base wants to win.
And they're locked into their contracts too. This is not like
they have their window. They have their
This is their team. With that, I agree with most of what you said. I think it's tough for the D-backs to sell considering they just made the World Series. It's going to be really hard to spin that to your fan base, especially after you only needed 84
I think you could speak to injuries. Corbin Carroll clearly playing hurt this year.
Just got an oblique injury too.
Oh yeah, a bunch of starting pitchers are out. I think you could point to that and say, look, all right, hey, we just won the got to the World Series last year. Let's regroup. Yeah. And not a complete sell off, but like, hey, let's sell some of our pieces there and go. I get the same feeling from the Mets. I don't know.
I think
I'm not as tuned in as you are, but that's the feeling I get from an outsider's perspective.
I don't think it's a two sides of the coin thing where it's like, are they going to buy or are they going to sell? I think there is no scenario where the New York Mets buy talent at this deadline. I think that the best case scenario, if you want to win this year, is you stand pat and you keep your talent. Even if they are in a wild card position, I still do think Luis Severino gets traded because the Mets have starting pitching depth that they like. They have young talent that they've been developing. A guy like Christian Scott, who's been sitting in AAA but was terrific for the Mets when he was here, is a guy that could fill in. And like I said before, starting pitching, I think, is the most robust market at this year's deadline. A ton of teams could use Luis Severino for 2 months and not bring him back just to help their playoff push, especially in the American League. So if you're in the Mets, you can think about, okay, we can trade this guy to the other league where he won't hurt our playoff push and still get a desired package in return. And then we can replace his spot in the rotation with a young guy that we like Christian Scott or Jose Budo. It gets a lot more difficult when you talk about the bats because those are guys that the Mets can't necessarily replace production-wise. So it's going to be interesting.
I kind of take back what I said about the Diamondbacks too.
I think they're gonna Tommy Pham, bring him back. Bring back the clubhouse mojo. We need a little fuck you in Arizona. Come on. Jack Flaherty is what Dalton just mouthed to me. I don't know about all that. That's a little crazy.
Jack Flaherty, the Tigers are interesting because they're kind of, showing some merit, whatever.
Yeah. It's fun, Triv.
So I think we're at that portion of the show now where there are so many teams who are kind of on the fence. You could talk. I think the Red Sox end up standing pat. I don't think they make any moves. I don't think they ship off like a Nick Pivetta. I think they're playing well enough right now where they're kind of healthy. I think that they are going to stick with what they got. And my goodness, like I think a surprise year for them, dealing with all those injuries and being at where they're at. The starting pitching obviously has been incredible. That was the one thing that I talked about prior to the season. Like, where's the pitching going to come from? I look like an idiot. It was just there already. Cardinals not going to do anything. I think they're going to stand pat. I think they have a roster that's kind of set. They don't have like huge glaring holes. Maybe add a depth pitcher, but again, I don't think they need to do anything. I think they're content with what they have.
Trev, can I ask you,
enough? Who knows?
Let me ask you about one more team because we haven't brought them up, which is shocking because I think they're the weirdest team out of all 30 right now.
Okay.
What do you do with your 35-36 Washington Nationals who are ahead of schedule and are also built to sell? What do you do?
Glad you brought that up. I think you can do a mini sell if you're the Nationals because you have guys that are primed to come up. You have prospects that are ready to come up. So you could do an addition by subtraction even where, okay, let's go reinforce one area of need and let's bring up some of the guys because, I've watched them play in person as well. They are, they're a fun team. And I think that not necessarily like overachieving. I think they have good players on that team. Now, can you say, well, we have Jesse Winker and he's, had a great start to the year and we can bring up a James Wood. Like you can make that. You could subtract and add him. I think there are guys like that. Now, like guys like Trevor Williams who are like, you would think typically like that would be a guy they would sell. I don't know if they need to do that. I think they're a team that could do a few minor subtractions, bring up who they have. Maybe they give Eddie Rosario back to the Braves. I don't know what it is.
Trev, this bullpen is nice. They have 4 relievers that are like potential high leverage arms for any competitive team. They told Dylan Floro, stop throwing so hard and just let your pitches move more. Like the sign they had up in spring training. He's been unbelievable. He's having the best season of his career.
What was the sign in spring training? Like
we don't care how hard you throw ball 4. I think that's what it was. Right?
Something like that.
But it works.
Love that.
The philosophy is working. It's about who you can replace. It's exactly what you said. It's kind of the same thing from the Mets. Who can we replace talent-wise and still sell and make this deadline a benefit for us?
Yeah, I think that's a lot of teams are in that position, but I like where the Nationals are at. I don't care how fast you throw.
Don on the screen. Don get a little cameo.
That's so good, dude. That is so freaking good. So yeah, I think they'll do a little bit of that, and I really hope that they don't like pull the plug on a bunch of guys and say, next year's our window. Like, no, I think I've said this before. Some of the most meaningful baseball that you can play, and some of the best. Well, something that'll help your organization out more than anything is having these guys play meaningful baseball in September.
Absolutely.
Like they need to get that under their belt and feel that. And I think that's what they'll get to. We're kind of running out of time here. I want to read one more thing to you guys before we get out of here. And that is Shady Rays.
Oh my goodness. It's about time.
We love Shady Rays. It's probably one of our best relationships we have with some of our sponsors. They've done a lot of the warehouse stuff. Plus, they make you look awesome. And like their deals are just, I don't understand how this company stays in business. I don't get it. Clearly, you're doing something right. You have a store at the Mall of America. Love that for you guys. So get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. I think that's the best thing, dude. First of all, the return policy is insane. But you don't need to buy like $200, $300 sunglasses, bro. You're just going to lose them or damage them. Go to Shady Rays, get you some affordable pairs. They're an independent sunglass company offering world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. What? Their shades have durable frames and crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all your outdoor adventures. If your shades ever go missing, this is crazy. If your shades ever go missing or take an unexpected hit, don't sweat it. They have the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair is backed by the lost or broken replacements. If you don't love your shades, you can exchange for a new pair or return worry-free within 30 days. This company is all about customer service, providing you with high-quality shades at an affordable price. What are you waiting for, people? Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com and use code TALKIN for 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. And now that offer applies to the custom Jimmy and Jake collab shades. So go get yours now. Shady Rays, one of the best companies out there doing it. Go check them out. It's summertime. It's bright. Protect your eyeballs, people.
And if you like buying products from good people, they're terrific people. We met them out in Arizona. They were so nice, so welcoming, and their store is awesome.
Amazing.
Good
Great way
shades.
to add in there, Jolly. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks for that.
The hell? Trev, I have a question for you. I have a question.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I think it's fun.
We got about 5 minutes left on this show.
It's for both of you.
Let's break it all down.
I'm going to challenge you both. I almost want a graphic of it, but maybe not. I want you to give me one trade that you think can be a lock for the deadline.
Ooh.
We're 6 weeks away, one player, one destination. I don't need to know the prospects because we're not Keith Law. But I need to know, what player do you envision donning a certain uniform in 6 weeks? Because I think it's an interesting question. And there's a lot of landing spots, possibilities. It's endless.
Can I give you one that I want to see happen?
I would love one that you want. That's kind of where my
Okay.
Pirates
I don't know if this is a
monologue
lock.
came from.
Because so teams are in the middle here, Jolly.
Oh, come on. That's a cop
and
out.
Jays fans are going to be so mad at me
Oh,
for this.
no.
I
Are
got to
you
see
doing
Bo
it?
Bichette in Dodger Blue.
No,
I
you
got to
pushed
see
the
him. And everyone's like,
button.
oh, you always talk about the Dodgers. I'm like, yeah, well, they're the team with like the most resources in baseball. Okay. And like clearly they want to win. And they had their star outfielder / infielder playing shortstop. They don't need him to do that anymore. He's hurt. He's going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks. I know Miguel Rojas has been doing a banger of a job, but I think he fits really well in a utility role. He can go around and give guys, off days at certain positions. I think if you add Bo Bichette here, and I know he's been struggling this year offensively, but he's got a track record. And I think a lot of times when the Dodgers are bringing guys over, they're looking to sign them long term. And I think Bo Bichette would fit there very nicely. I think he could be fixed defensively as well. I think a lot of people will point to that and say, do we really want a guy at shortstop that, isn't the best metrically? I think you could fix him. I think he's got all the tools to do it. I think he would thrive in that marketplace. I think he would look beautiful in that uniform. I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know if the Blue Jays should even trade him. I think they should extend him. They have all the resources too.
Can I ask you who plays where when Mookie comes back?
I would put Mookie back at second base.
Interesting. Okay.
100%.
I like that.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think he wants to play shortstop necessarily. I think he did it out of necessity. Gavin Lux had a crazy, weird spring training where they're like, you need to like make a change quick.
Are we off the Gavin Lux train?
Well,
then?
no, I'm not off. I think Gavin Lux will be part of the package.
Oh, I like that.
I love
spin.
Gavin. He's a good
I like that
dude.
spin.
I think that he could use a change of scenery as well.
Okay.
Hasn't really panned out for him in LA. There's so many guys that could ship over to Toronto. Is that a lock to happen? Obviously not, but that's
it's
one
sexy,
I would
Trev.
like to
It's
see happen.
sexy, and I like it.
That's
Also,
sexy.
I think either one of JD Martinez or I don't think Pete Alonso will. I think JD Martinez, is going to be a twin.
What was that last second jab? That was crazy. It was a sucker punch to my heart.
JD Martinez to the
Had
Twins. You heard it here first.
BBD? Do you have one?
I've got I've got 1.5 to tell you about.
Okay.
I'll start close to home. There's been a lot of talk in the office. Yanks need one more reliever. And there's always bullpen arms to go at the deadline. People are eyeing the Marlins, of course, because they've always got arms that are interesting. Some people named Jimmy, been penciling in Tanner Scott for a while, which that could happen. I would love the Yankees to get somebody a little more established, like tomorrow we put him in the 8th inning or later. That'd be cool. I ain't vetoing that.
Okay.
I do got my eyes on Andrew Nardi, that missing lefty. They love kind of finding that next guy. He showed a lot of potential last year. I think Matt Blake might do a little tricky there, get his numbers back in order. The Yankees love a buy low guy with years, and they need some swing and miss. They need a lefty for high leverage spots right now because Ferguson and Gonzalez haven't done it. A bigger trade that more people will care about because that's the Yankees trading for
Nardi's
a
not
reliever.
sexy for us.
You've already tuned everybody out of the show. And me too, Dodgers. Let's go somewhere else.
I'm still on the fish. We talked a little about Jesus Luzardo. He's got 3 years left, 2.5 years left.
Like
And there's a team we've talked about. They need pitching, or they always create pitching, but they could use one more frontline ability starter. They currently are employing 5 righties. They have a very good rotation on the IL. Brewers could be such a Luzardo team if they've got one tweak to get his streakiness in line. They always have. It seems like they always have prospects that teams are going to be interested in. For them, they would get him a year and a half, 2 years, and flip him either before his last year again or at that deadline or whatever. It'd be such a Brewers spin around.
I like that.
Gives
you a nice
I've got them as such a Luzardo team.
Game 1, Game 2 starter for Nardi.
I have 2 more locks. Just real quick. These are actual locks.
You guys are going above and beyond. I had one too, guys. That's fine. Go ahead.
Oh, you can end here, then we'll end the show. Atlanta Braves, Jesse Winker, and Tommy Pham.
Okay. Tommy Pham, that's
I think-
wrong because he's going back to the Snakes, but Jesse
Okay,
Winker. I
fine.
like.
Winker is going to go to the Braves.
Okay. So first of all, one thing I want to say, Nardi, his FIP is half of his ERA, which I think is fun. So that's Yankees written all over it. Second thing, the Braves are not getting Jesse Winker either because they don't. Marcell Ozuna's their DH. You're not going to put Marcell Ozuna in left field. You know someone you can put in left field until 2028 who plays for a team that you constantly trade with? Brent Rooker. Brent Rooker might be an Atlanta Brave. I'll hate it, but I can't foresee him in any other uniform. I think the Twins have too much pride to trade back for him after letting him get away. And that's the only other team that really makes sense. And I think the Braves could use some ammunition in their lineup. I'm not sure how the experiment is going with Kelnick. I know they had Ramon Laureano out there. They clearly need some outfield help. Brent Rooker could be that guy. Okay.
We didn't even talk about the Twins at all. Oh my gosh.
I'm okay.
Number one team in baseball.
There's
Royce
too much
Lewis.
Twins talk on this show. I mean, it's out of hand, Trev. Save it for the network. Come on.
Bieber, hit that music.
I had fun.
Thank you guys for joining us. We're 6 weeks away. Listen to us. Don't listen to Passan or Bowden or Rosenthal. No, get it here.
Jake sucks.
And he's sick. Poor guy.
I'm just kidding. I
Suck
like all
into
those
that.
guys. They're all really nice. Me and Jeff
They
Passan
probably
texted.
don't want us.
Met Jeff Passan at the warehouse.
Yeah,
They'll be
we've been
back
talking
soon.
about bunting. Me and him have similar feelings on the bunt.
Your bunt rant was a little crazy.
They're talking about sack bunts, not bunting for base hits.
It's a
Have
little
you
bit
been
crazy.
around a Major League Baseball team lately? I don't think you have. I have.
Swing the
I
bat,
understand what's
Pop.
going on.
Swing the bat.